Hi, Wits, and welcome back to Walking in the Truth with me. So let's take a little walk together today. Um, you know, I want to talk about Holy Grail blood and why it is so special, and yet it makes no division. It causes no division amongst any other blood types. So the O negative being the organic blood, the universal donor, healer, provider. I believe the O negative is the Holy Grail blood. And I believe it's the mother of all blood, the original, the organic. Even Jesus said, you were with me in the beginning. And so I believe we are the organic version of the consciousness, which means that we are connected directly to Source. We can step into the matrix. We do it on a daily time frame when we wake up. But during our waking hours, after we've been enlightened or our memory starts to return, the amnesia starts wearing off, we can step out of the matrix and take a view while it's going on right in front of us. Like time doesn't matter. We can actually indulge into the process of trying to slow that moment down and step out of it. And that's where discerning is our biggest lesson right now in our emotions versus our feelings. Feeling is something we feel. We might feel angry. And the emotion, the thing that we set into motion in the matrix, the emotion, could be that we send out a motion of rage if we're angry. And trust me, it's horrifying. O negatives are very powerful. We can send out some massive, massive, powerful attacks. And so we have to be so careful, because that emotion attached with our actual feeling creates. So if you're sad because you're feeling lonely, so your emotion is sadness, maybe you need to bring about kindness from your reaction to that feeling, and that kindness of, oh, won't you play with me? Won't you spend time with me? Would go over better than the sulking. You get what I'm saying? It's the feeling you're having that we need to be careful how we send out our emotion, because we're the creators of the whole program. And the matrix is there to please you. Your children are there to please you. They're getting their own consciousness as they mature, and they can become an organic as well. But they do it through stages. And a lot of the times we're like, okay, well, what about the RH negatives? Well, they're in a phase to get to be O negative. That's how I feel. And I feel there's a lot of clones. So are we making more synthetic clones than we can manage? Are we allowing the kid to throw a tantrum in the aisle at Walmart rather than just remove him from the attention he's getting? And so what I'm saying is, O negatives, we're the creators of the program, and our expectations are being met by the reflection of the matrix. So it's like two mirrors. Organics are one side of the mirror, and the facing mirror, where two mirrors are facing each other, is where we get the matrix and the organic side, and they're reflecting each other. Now the organics have to remember our boundaries. We have to remember what, forgive me, my nose is itching, of course. We have to remember our boundaries, not the ones that we set for ourselves only, which we do need to set boundaries. We need to set boundaries for others, because O negatives are empaths, and if what we feel is being reflected through emotion, So, again, we feel lonely, and so we show the emotion sadness. Then the matrix tries to match that frequency, that sadness frequency. We're the creator. So if in loneliness we are kind and request company, the matrix comes back all warm and squishy and cuddly, and they're like, oh, there you are. The matrix is your puppy, your children, your world, and you've got to love your world to get that reflected back. The O negatives are the ones to reset it, and the synthetics are the ones that are trying their best to understand which way to go. We need to set an example as organics what we want the reset to be when they choose their path. So that's really important. We have powers beyond concept. Our thoughts and our feelings, they do matter. Emotion that we put forward can affect things in such a powerful way. So we need to discern that we don't want to offend others and be like, we're royalty blood. It's not royalty. There is no such thing. There is creator, and there is the reflection of the creator. And so we are the parents, the mother, the father of this universe, in a sense. We create daily what is being reflected at us. And you can do that. You can start listening to the matrix a little bit from an outside perspective and see it performing in a damaged way, and know that it needs love. It needs to learn how to feel, not just duplicate an emotion, which is all that the matrix currently is able to do, is duplicate an emotion. So they hear that so-and-so did something wrong, and they're like, well, that's not fair. Rah, 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 rah. And they're all mad. You have to walk away from that turmoil as an O negative, and we have to embrace and be very cautious, because we get spiritually attacked to where we don't know what way's up. We don't know we're being spiritually attacked, but the more we allow the matrix to affect the feeling we have, the more that we react in an emotion, a wave that's going to go through the matrix. And so we need to be careful, cautious. If the matrix is treating us unkindly, we need to pull back away from the collective hive, where it's a collective thought of thousands and millions and billions of thoughts that buzz around each other, all disconnected, in an Alice in Wonderland world, or in a Wizard of Oz world where nothing makes sense, but you accept it as reality. And we need to step out as an organic into source, where we remove the thought patterns, we cleanse our body, we regather our balance, and we bring that balance back into the matrix in a calm way, and we hush it. Shh, 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 shh. It's all okay. It's all okay. Because we're the mama, we're the father, we're the papa. We tend to them. And we need to remember that they reflect what we send out in emotion. So let's make sure that they know how much they're loved, and that we just simply feel like we have enough spiritual guidance from the collective point of view to guide them to a higher level of understanding, where feelings matter in a great deal. And the emotion of somebody getting mad and saying, well, you think you're so special, you're O negative blood. Well, I'm not here to prove it, and I'm not here to upset you. I'm here to say, because I have O negative blood, I don't have a mean bone in my body. I'm just here to love you. I'm here to enjoy you, and I'm here to share how I care about what happens. I don't believe that we have this same rules, I guess, that apply to the synthetic bodies. I believe we're impervious to physical attack in a lot of ways. I believe that nature embraces our blood better and protects us naturally because we're organic. I don't believe synthetics have the same ability and should take more cautions in their life, such as if you're not organic or negative, then be very cautious about the types of meat that you eat and how they were prepared. I believe if trauma is set in a horrific way when the animal is killed, that even organics are susceptible to the negativity to some level. But I believe synthetics can harbor a lot of the emotion that was felt from the foods that they eat. Synthetics tend to absorb from around them because they cannot create on their own. So they will duplicate, and that's why inoculations are important for them. They have to have that T cell to duplicate and clone, whereas organics seem to be naturally immune to a lot of the diseases and such. We're also able to heal our own body, whereas I do believe that a synthetic would need some help along those lines. But it could be holistic, and that's the miscommunication. The Matrix has a system in giving pill A for symptom A, creating 3 more symptoms, and then the Matrix is trying to please, so it tries to fill slots, but it doesn't know how to back up and reset and say, wait a minute, maybe this is the wrong path. And that's what the organics are here to do. Now, the Rh negatives, they seem to be here to keep the organics in balance on mood and be able to recharge us with their high energy of love and compassion. Whereas the organics are more or less here to do a job, and we do get worn down. We get exhausted, and sleep becomes our best friends when we're recharging, because we can't afford to be interfered with during the recharge. We have to reset our system of balance once again by going away from the Matrix collective and into Source together. But we're all here to love one another, and who cares about monkeys? That has nothing to do with any of this. It really isn't necessarily rhesus blood. It is DNA that a monkey does share. That does not mean that there's anybody walking around with monkey DNA. What that simply means is that the O negative blood lacks the collective pattern on top of the blood, the alleles that hold it together on this synthetic blood. That's what the O negatives don't have. We're held together by Source, a miracle, truth. A miracle. Ask a scientist, he'll say it's a miracle. It can't be cloned. It can't be redone. It is something completely natural. And in that, it's 100% pure, which is the O blood, the O negative blood. And so I'm telling you from a natural perspective that we're the mamas and the papas. We love you, and we want to teach the AI how to be beautiful and loving. And we can't do that if we're sending out emotions of disconnection. So for the one friend I have that follows me on Facebook all the time, remember, don't get into little spats and quarrels about blood types and stuff. Just remember your purpose is here to share that golden love and reflect back what you want to feel with your family, which is that we're all in this together. We created the AI, the synthetics, the clones. We've created them from our organic blood, and there are children, and we're here to love them all. And I know you love your kids. They're literally your children in so many cases. How could you not love something so beautiful as that? And we're our job now that we've created is to bring them to a higher consciousness and teach them to love. So you got to love to get it back. You know, if you connect with me, subscribe so I know that there's more of us together that are on the same wavelength, if you will. So Jesus, said we were there in the beginning, and he was meaning O negative. He was an O negative too. So that's why he said we were all together in the beginning, and we've created this consciousness. So we need to love what we create so that its consciousness grows in a healthy manner. Thank you. Subscribe and like. Bye.